Welcome back to Coin Sense and Nonsense. Today, it's Toner Tuesday. That's late edition. I had to re-record because it sounded like I recorded the other one on Morphine Monday, and I also have new information. So, had some coffee, and now we're ready to show and tell. Here's a cool Morgan. So this is a New Orleans minted Morgan dollar with some kick butt color, and the blue and greenish on the outside there is really cool. It kind of has a neat gradient, and it's got some luster, obviously. So it's a little bit satiny this particular year, or kind of this era of coins. Is notorious for that. It's kind of towards the end of the run, I'll give that away. And so it seems like the New Orleans coins tend to color up really nicely in my limited experience, and I have a thing for the New Orleans mint, so I'll snatch them up every time, especially when they look like this. I overpaid a little bit for what the value of the coin is, but it makes me happy, so I don't care. So I'll reveal that when I show you what the grade is and what the other side looks like. So this one has a variety, or is a variety. On most of you that are watching this probably already know this, but for the people who don't, varieties on Morgan dollars and peace dollars are categorized as VAM. Van Allen and Malice were two guys that cataloged the different die varieties, or kind of mint anomalies on the different coins. Even the counterfeit ones. Actually, this particular year has some counterfeits with micro O and whatnot, but this one I think is called VAM 10, and here's the other side. Oh, and it is a cool double cider. So this is a 1901 O, and it's got some action going on here, but it is MS63, so it's not super high grade, but it's high enough for me. I love this coin, and like I say, I paid more than it's worth as far as the catalog or the book value. It's a $70 coin in the price guide, but I paid $125, and I'm not disappointed. I love this, so I could look at it quite often, and I've already gotten the enjoyment out of it. Just where it says unum, just love that kind of neat effect there. So not the most not the worst example, I guess. I've seen a lot of others that are more weakly struck, if that's a thing. But so let's talk about how I think this is a VAM 10, and how you can kind of pare down the list of VAMs. In a lot of years, especially in the late 1900s, there are different die hub combinations that are used, and you can eliminate a lot of the things on the list by knowing how to figure out which reverse you have. So let's talk about that, give you a little class, and then I'll show you how this is a variety. Let's go to the scope. All right, so between 1900 and 1904, there were different die hub combos, and so it could either be C3, C4, or C4 over C3. So one of the ways to tell which of those you have is to look in this area. So the this kind of area gap between the wing and the neck, if it's kind of sharp like a V there, that one would be a C3. You'd also see like a protruding feather from the neck here. This one is a C4, and I'll tell you why it's not a C4 over C3 in a moment, but because it's rounded or kind of more curved here, it's a C4. And so the next area to check is one of the olives. And so if you look down here at this olive, you can see that there's only a single olive here, and if there had been like a little doubling or a second berry or second olive there, then this would be a C4 over C3. So, knowing that, you can eliminate a good chunk of the list of possible varieties that you're checking for. As I was mentioning, for certain years, the list of all the different types of varieties is just crazy. So you could spend all day checking through there and then you'd probably give up. So pare it down, look for, sort the list by what type of reverse you have, and it's a lot easier. So I narrowed this down to be VAM 10, and one of the things that you need to look for to determine that, well, actually first, VAM 10 means that it has a high O mint mark, and how you determine that is by kind of putting a straight edge where the, let's see if I can line it up here, there you go. And so a little bit of the O is protruding above the line, and I don't have it lined up exactly, but it's just a hair above, and so that's called a high O. There's also other types of varieties to look for depending on whether it's tilted or the positioning of the O, but this one I think is just a straight high O. And one of the die markers that you need to be able to tell for sure that you have attribution or whatnot, right in this area, and let me focus a little better, but there's a scratch or a die polish line there. See if we can do this without making everyone ill. You can kind of make it out a little bit. I think with the angle I have, it's hard, but there is a polish mark right there, and that is diagnostic, like I say. And the other thing is it's got a shifted date, and so let's go to the obverse and we'll look at that. So this one is known as far date, and one of the ways that you can tell, and actually I don't have it in my view here, let's see if we can, there we go. Need to be able to see the neck of the, or the V of the neck they call it. So if you if you line it up so that the V is in that denticle there and the gap between the denticle. So 1, 2, 3. Normally the beginning or the front part of the 1 should be somewhere over this third denticle, but this one lines up in the crevice there in between, and so that's known as a far date. And if it goes, there's also another one where it's really shifted over, a very far date. But so this is a far date high O, and so that's cool. So it doesn't, for this particular year, there's no extra value for a lot of the VAM, and PCGS doesn't put the attribution or won't attribute the coin um, in this particular year. So it's worth, before you get too excited about whether something's valuable or not, you should check out the different resources. So I'll put a link in the description of the website that I've got all this information from, and also I'll show a couple pictures just to back up my claims there about this. So anyway, don't want to bore you to tears, but just thought it was cool to share how you can figure out if you have some cool variety or not. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed checking that out, and I didn't bore you too much with all the VAM discussion. I don't know, I just get interested in all the different varieties and things like that. For some years, it really makes a difference in value, so worth knowing about anyway. So, like I mentioned, I'll put the link to the website. That's kind of like my VAM go-to guide. And I thank you so much for watching Coin Sense and Nonsense. And until next time, bye bye.